22 hours of travelling. We are on the bikes and it's probably windy as heck. We're off to O Groats, kinda. Woo. So at this point we'd already travelled for 22 hours, as I said. We hired a van, drove to Inverness, got the train from Inverness to Thurso, and then we're just cycling this last little bit into O Groats now. It's about a 20-mile cycle. Like I said, just warming our legs up. So we're here, and this is our accommodation for the night. As you can see, it's quite small. Our bikes are actually in that little shed as well. We did get some sleeping bags in the end, so it's all good. So this is day one. This is where we started. We got down to O Groats, the sign, nice and early. Compared to Land's End, there's not a lot there. As you can see there on the sign, 874 miles. We travelled a little bit more than that, but you know, splitting hairs, I guess. So at this point, we're 1 hour in, around 16 or 17 miles into the ride, heading back towards Thurso when disaster strikes. Mike manages to somehow pretty much dismount his derailleur from his bike, so we ended up having to push him into Thurso. Interesting story, really. He ended up having to get a bus to Inverness and then getting his bike fixed. The guys in the bike shop were really good, and they fixed his bike up. He then had to cycle back to Invergordon, which is where we were staying, which is 30 miles. He was 30 miles south of us. So he had a nice time on the bus on this road, the A9, which was just fantastic. Yeah, really enjoyable road. Little bit of elevation for the day. Obviously, throughout this video, I'll put in the stats on our Strava, and you can see roughly where we were each day, how much ground we were covering, etc. Bumpy start to day one.
Hello, just a quick update. We've done 70 miles, just taken 3 hours to do the last 20. Bit mental, a couple of really heavy climbs, but then some really nice descents, flying around. This place is absolutely beautiful. We've just found a little spa shop, and just had a wrap, redone our water bottles, and we're ready. We've got 50 miles left, so yes, let's go.
So day two was a considerably shorter day, 80 something, although it didn't feel much shorter at all. I think mainly because we sort of wasted a lot of time actually. I'll double check the elapsed time for the day. Yeah, we spent a lot of time in Inverness, looking in bike shops and eating basically. And then we headed up into the mountains after that, which was slowed us down quite a lot. And then the last sort of 15 miles felt like 50, but we finally got to Kinguzi, I think it was called, where we had an interesting evening and an interesting meal. It was a Saturday night, and the place we were staying was next to a railroad track, so it was quite loud. And basically the guys were getting hammered. So yeah, day two complete. On to day three. So day three, by this point it was kind of business as usual. As you can see in the photo, we actually climbed for about 20 miles, I think. I'll put in the elevation chart on today's one, because yeah, it was a 20-mile climb, which it wasn't the steepest, but we definitely felt it, followed by a 10-mile descent. So we had a nice fast bit after that, so it wasn't too bad. We left Kinguzi 6:30 in the morning. Beautiful little place actually. Got out onto the A9 and ended up just following the A9 for, well, 30 miles plus really. Ended up on day three in Dunfermline, which wasn't the best place, but then we stayed right next to Dick Place, got ourselves a pizza and got some sleep, ready for day four, which, spoiler alert, was a very long, tough day. So then day 4, definitely the highlight of the day was seeing the sunrise as we crossed this bridge in just outside Dunfermline in the morning. Really nice. After that, we kind of slowed down a little bit. The route that we were taking took us through a lot of housing estates and off the main road, and it wasn't quite as direct as we would have liked. So it took us kind of best part of 3 hours, I think, to travel around 20 miles sort of moving time. So we were quite sort of disheartened by this, and as you can see here, we're in Edinburgh. And it's probably around 10 o'clock in the morning by the time we got to Edinburgh, which was, like I said, less than 20 miles from Dunfermline. So yeah, we really were quite slow moving for the morning, which was quite difficult to swallow. But then once we left Edinburgh, there was quite a substantial climb, and then we got up into the mountains, and it was really nice then for the sort of middle part of the day, before not getting to Carlisle until 9:30 at night. That was hard. We were all very tired by this point. But reaching the England sign, going through Gretna Green, and then coming into Carlisle was really nice, and the evening was really nice. We were so lucky with the weather in general, but that day in particular, first time we've kind of ever really ridden sunrise to sunset, I guess. So on to day 5. I'll be honest, day 5 and 6 kind of melt into one a little bit. As you can probably see from the footage, we're still actually in Edinburgh. Funny story, but I'll get onto that later on as to why the footage probably doesn't start to match up at this point. Anyway, back to day 5. Left Carlisle early in the morning and went through I remember it being really cold that day actually. I think we got up and left quite early. It was another long day, over 100 miles after doing the 120 mile day the day before. One thing I do remember actually is at this point we went through Kendal, and we actually stopped in Kendal. Kendal was actually the halfway point, which we learnt while we were there. We spoke to some really nice people, stopped in a cafe, and the girl who was serving us, she'd actually done Land's End to John O'Groats, so she was asking us loads of questions. We also had our white tops on, so we were all matching that day, and a guy stopped us there, scanned the QR code, and actually donated to our Just Give It page, which was fantastic. So that was really nice, and it did actually pick us up a little bit. It was a nice thing, because we were kind of flagging a little bit, I think, by this point. So we actually finished day 6 not far outside Manchester, which was really nice for me, because I got to meet up with my sister. She came to give us some supplies, and we stayed pretty much on the M6, literally on it, pretty much at like a service station. So yeah, that was nice. We got some extra supplies, and then I got to have KFC or Burger King, one of the two, with my sister. So that was really nice of me, and it was Mike's birthday, so it was nice for everybody, I guess. On to day 6. So yeah, day 6. As you can see actually from day 5, 108 miles for both days, hence why I said it was quite similar. Just going through loads of like towns and cities, quite industrial places, Wigan, Warrington, etc, etc. We kind of, as you'll see on the map, went between Liverpool and Manchester, but we did end the day in a really nice place with big onions, in a place called Ludlow in Shropshire, which was really nice. We had an Airbnb as well, so it was nice. We could actually wash our kit properly instead of stamping on it in the shower and trying to dry it as quickly as we could by wrapping it up in towels, etc. So as you can see, the footage is still in Edinburgh, but day 6 complete. So on to day 7. Crazy to think that we'd been doing this for a week. Thinking back about it now. So we just left Ludlow, and we actually got on with it that day, and we made some really good headway. And the first 2 hours, I think we've managed 36, 38 miles or something crazy. So we really got ahead of time. It was a short day, 88 miles, and we ended up in Bath, as you can see here, with a substantial Nando's order. So we were in Bath in quite good time, obviously it being a shorter day, which allowed us to go and have a little walk around Bath, although the youth hostel that we stayed in was up a very big hill. So at the end of a 90-mile day, doing a 17% 1 mile climb was not the funnest, but nonetheless, we did it. Guess we won't be going this way. Woo! So, on to day 8, Baths down to Oakhampton. Some of these roads actually, although not that we're still looking in Scotland on the visuals, but some of the roads that we'd ridden on this day, the penultimate day, were ones that we'd done. Some of the roads, like I said, we'd done on a previous trip when we came back from Bristol down to Cornwall. So we kind of knew roughly what we were in for, although at this point it was getting really hot, like high 20s. In fact, in Bath, it was like 27 degrees pretty much overnight. It was so hot. So yeah, we were kind of wearing bare minimum for the most part and trying to stay cool. So stopping a little bit more than we had done on previous days, drinking a lot more water on previous days. So it actually became quite difficult, but still good nonetheless. A long day. I actually did slightly shorter miles this day because I stopped in Oakhampton to meet Lauren, and yeah, she bought me a nice Waitrose dinner, and we just hung out. So that was really nice to see familiar roads and familiar faces, and got myself a snog before getting into our final night. Yeah, day 8. Not much to say really. Hopefully day 9 will be a bit more entertaining. So final day, day 9. We got up an hour earlier. So this is 5:30 in the morning, moon's still out. And here is the last known sighting of my GoPro in my pocket, which I'll tell you about finally in a minute. So we got ourselves down to Land's End in really good time. And thanks to Mike for this drone footage. And yeah, this is us arriving on the last day. Over 100 miles cycled on the last day, so it wasn't just short and sweet, but I'll give you a little bit of a summary in a second. It was fantastic seeing all those people there with the banners and the champagne and the everything that was the part of the last day. It was such a crazy time. But yeah, we made it 950 miles across 9 days, so an average of 106 miles a day. And yeah, this was what was greeting us at the end. Like I said, champagne and ticker tape and banners and confetti and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, I didn't really know what was going to happen, to be honest. My legs went a bit funny, and we all it was quite emotional riding towards the end, as you can imagine. But fantastic experience, fantastic experience for the 3 of us over the 9 days, and we had a lot of fun. So yeah, the story of my GoPro, basically, as I've mentioned a couple of times, I'd promise I'd share with you. Somewhere between Launceston and Bodmin, I lost my GoPro, so that's half the reason why this has taken so long for me to make. I usually make videos in a very different fashion, and usually it's sort of a quick edit process, but this has taken me a long time, hence me doing this voiceover, which I wasn't had no idea what I was doing, basically. So hopefully it's come out okay. Just a bit of housekeeping really. Like I said, 950 miles for us over 9 days, and then the Just Giving page is actually still open. It'll be open until the 1st of December, so you can still donate to that. So thank you for everyone who's donated already. There will be a link in the description to do that. Yeah, just fantastic stuff. Just to wrap things up, obviously you can see that from the social media stuff, including this video, that the ride that the reason why we did this ride in the first place was a young brave lad called Logan, who unfortunately lost his battle with a rare form of leukemia just before we completed the ride. So actually waiting to finish this edit and to kind of let the dust settle on that has been, you know, a nice reflection for us, as horrible as it was, and obviously we knew that was kind of carrying us, especially in the latter stages. It was a very difficult time for the family and ourselves, obviously. So yeah, just a small reflection. Just like to dedicate this video to Logan and all of his family and friends and anybody who supported us during this time, because it was a real effort by a lot of people. It wasn't just three of us. Lots of people were involved, supporting us the whole way. So much appreciated, and thanks for getting this far in the video. And